Have you ever felt like you were nothing more than a battery, constantly drained until you had nothing left to give? The moment you choose to unplug yourself is the moment everything changes. And trust me, the reaction you're about to witness is absolutely wild. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you decided to click on this video today because we are talking about perhaps the single most critical step in escaping narcissistic abuse: cutting off the supply line. It sounds simple, but when you stop feeding the monster, the chaos that ensues is predictable, terrifying, and ultimately, your ticket to freedom. We need to dissect what happens when that flow of attention, that narcissistic supply, suddenly stops. Because their reaction is not random. It's a calculated psychological response that proves just how powerless they truly are without you. To understand the magnitude of this shift, we must first deeply understand what narcissistic supply actually is. It's not just compliments, it is any form of attention or reaction, positive or negative, that validates their false self. Think of it as their lifeblood, their oxygen mask, or more accurately, their drug of choice. They are fundamentally empty shells, constantly needing external validation to maintain the fragile, inflated facade they present to the world. If you laugh at their joke, that's supply. If you argue with them for 3 hours, that's even better. It confirms you are still invested in their reality. This constant need for supply is why they cycle between love bombing and devaluation. They are perpetually scanning their environment, seeking sources of energy to manage their own deeply rooted self-hatred and shame. They cannot generate this internal energy themselves. They must siphon it from people who are empathetic, caring, and emotionally rich, which, inevitably, means you. You became their primary source, the consistent stream of validation that kept their elaborate self-constructed reality from collapsing into dust. So, what does it feel like when you, the primary battery, finally run dry and refuse to recharge? The decision to withhold supply is a moment of profound internal power, but it also feels incredibly scary. It's like stepping away from a bonfire in a blizzard. You are cold, exposed, and expecting the shadows to close in on you. When you decide to stop reacting to the drama, stop answering the manipulative calls, stop defending yourself against their outrageous accusations, you are committing an act of rebellion against the central tenet of their entire existence: control. The very first thing you will notice is a period of intense confusion on their part, a sort of psychological short circuit. They will send a minor test balloon, a vague text, a slight complaint, an attempt at a guilt trip, just to see if the connection is really severed. They assume you are just having a bad day or testing them, because in their mind, nobody willingly abandons such a magnificent person as themselves. This initial mild attempt is often called the probe, and if you fail to respond, the confusion quickly curdles into irritation. If the probe fails, the second stage kicks in, and this is where the famous narcissistic rage often erupts. When the supply is truly cut, they don't feel sadness or regret. They feel panic, a terrifying fear of exposure, because their control mechanism is failing. They will escalate the drama rapidly. Expect a massive, disproportionate, and frightening tantrum designed to shock you back into compliance. They might scream, call you names, threaten self-harm, or engage in dramatic acts of self-pity, all aimed at one goal: getting an emotional reaction, any reaction, to prove they still matter enough to hurt you. This rage is essentially a psychological fishing expedition. They are casting the net wide, trying every hook they have ever used on you. They are subconsciously thinking, what button must I push to get my energy back? If they see even the slightest flicker of fear, pity, or defensiveness in your response, they will latch onto it, confirming that the supply line is merely damaged, not destroyed. This is the hardest time to maintain your boundaries, because their drama is designed to be overwhelming, demanding all your attention and emotional labor. But let's imagine you hold firm. You are a gray rock, unmoving, unresponsive, and emotionally neutralizing their drama. This persistence leads to the third crucial stage, the infamous hoovering attempts. They realize the rage and tantrum haven't worked, so they switch tactics entirely, often resorting to sickeningly sweet and manipulative behavior. This is love bombing 2.0, where they promise they've changed, apologize profusely, without ever truly acknowledging the specific abuse, and remember the good times with unsettling accuracy. The hoovering phase is emotionally exhausting because it preys on your core desire for the relationship to have worked. They will use every possible angle. Pity plays. They are sick. They lost their job. They miss your pet. Idealize memories. Remember that trip we took? Or even outright financial coercion. They might deploy flying monkeys, mutual friends or family members, who suddenly contact you, claiming you are being cold, unforgiving, or destroying the family unit. These proxies are simply extensions of the narcissist, doing their bidding to regain control. If the hoovering doesn't work, and you remain completely cut off, no contact, blocked everywhere, zero engagement, they face a terrifying predicament. They have failed to retrieve their main source of sustenance. To a narcissist, failure is the ultimate threat, confirming their inherent worthlessness. They cannot simply accept that you moved on. Instead, they must employ the next strategy: public devaluation and the rapid discard. They must rewrite history to save face. You will suddenly become the villain in their narrative. They will launch a smear campaign, telling everyone they know that you were the abusive one, that you were crazy, unstable, or jealous, and that they had no choice but to escape your toxicity. This public character assassination serves a dual purpose. First, it makes them look like the noble victim who overcame a terrible ordeal, and second, it preemptively poisons the well against you, ensuring that future potential supply sources don't listen to your side of the story. It is critical, everyone, that you understand this smear campaign is not about punishing you. It's about managing their reputation and securing their next primary source. They need the public to believe their lies. This allows them to seamlessly transition to a new victim, someone who won't ask too many inconvenient questions about their past. This is why the discard often looks so brutal and sudden. They have to convince the world they moved on because you were fundamentally flawed, not because they ran out of things to take from you. Now, let's talk about the secret part, the part they desperately hide. While they are busy destroying your reputation externally, internally they are undergoing what is known as narcissistic supply deprivation, NSD. This is a psychological crisis state, often described as an emotional flatline combined with extreme anxiety. They feel utterly hollow, experiencing the true, terrifying emptiness of their core self without your energy protecting them from it. When you cut off the supply, you force them to face that deep, dark cavern inside themselves, and they will do anything to avoid it. They will frantically search for a new primary source, NPS. They will rush the love bombing phase with the new person, often moving impossibly fast, because they are bleeding energy and need a transfusion immediately. The intensity of their need means the new relationship is doomed to burn out even faster than yours did. This is the psychological equivalent of a withdrawal. They might seem fine on social media, posting happy pictures with the new person, but know this: that happiness is entirely performative. They are addicted to external validation, and when the primary source disappears, the panic is palpable. They are not thinking about you. They are worried about their survival. Your absence creates a power vacuum they cannot fill alone. For you, standing strong during the hoovering and the smear campaign is the ultimate act of self-love and self-protection. When you stop feeding the narcissist, you stop contributing to their false reality, and more importantly, you stop sacrificing your own authentic reality for their sake. This is not just moving on. This is reclaiming your identity that they systematically eroded through constant manipulation and gaslighting. The moment you realize that their rage, their sorrow, their pity, and their threats are just desperate attempts to plug the hole you left, you gain an incredible amount of clarity. Their behavior becomes transparently transactional. You see the strings of the puppet show, and once you see the strings, you can never unsee them. This clarity is your shield against future attempts at manipulation. Stopping the supply means redirecting that enormous emotional investment back into yourself. Imagine all the energy you spent arguing, crying, defending, and trying to fix them. Now, that energy belongs to you. You are free to pursue your passions, rebuild your support system, and most importantly, remember who you were before they came along and dimmed your light. This journey is not easy, and there will be moments of intense doubt, especially when the flying monkeys approach or when you see their exaggerated happiness online. But remember your anchor, your peace. Your peace is non-negotiable. Every day you maintain no contact, every text you resist answering, every social media profile you refuse to check. That is a brick in the foundation of your new, stronger life. The reward for enduring the difficult phases of their withdrawal is staggering, genuine, unadulterated freedom. You are no longer tethered to their emotional state. Their bad mood no longer dictates your day. Their failures are no longer your burden. You have severed the parasitic link, and suddenly, the world feels expansive and quiet in the most beautiful way. They may never change, and they will certainly continue seeking new supply, but that is their problem, not yours. Your responsibility is only to yourself. Your job is to heal the wounds they inflicted and to reinforce your boundaries so strongly that no parasitic energy can ever attach to you again. This separation is painful because it's a necessary amputation for survival. So, when you stop feeding the narcissist, what truly happens? Their world destabilizes, their fake self cracks, they throw a tantrum, they desperately hoover, and then they discard you in a blaze of lies. But simultaneously, your world begins to solidify. You gain strength, perspective, and the undeniable truth that your worth is intrinsic, not something they granted you. You are the winner here. What I want you to take away today, my dear viewers, is that your silence is your loudest statement. Your distance is your greatest defense. Do not underestimate the profound power of simply refusing to participate in their endless cycle of chaos. You are strong enough to withstand their storm, and the sun shining on the other side is worth every difficult moment. You deserve peace. You deserve happiness. And you absolutely deserve to be free from the constant obligation to feed someone else's broken ego. Choose yourself today, tomorrow, and every day after that. If this message resonated with you, if you found clarity in knowing what's happening behind the scenes, please smash that like button. Tell me in the comments below, what was the hardest part of going no contact for you? Sharing your story helps others heal. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into healing. And please, share this video with anyone who needs to hear this truth. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.